I got two words for you guys. I'm gonna make it very, very short and straight to the point. So, two words for you. The first word is God showed me a fish being reeled in, and then the fisherman will grab onto the fish. And if the fish freaks out, he drops from the hook into the boat and this and that. But the intention of the fisherman was to throw him back into the water where the fish belongs, right? And that's where its element is. Sometimes you feel in an uncomfortable situation and you feel like you've been got by a certain situation and you don't know how it's going to pan out for you. And if you freak out like a fish and you flip out, you come out of God's hand, right? The fisherman's hand. And then you land on the boat and you get all these scuffs and marks all over you because you're freaking out. So you do a lot of harm in the process of something. If you just stay still, remain still, be still, and know that I am God. If you just remain still in the fisherman's hand, then he can put you back into your element, which is the water. Through your prayers, you say, God, this situation is rough, it's uncomfortable, it's out of whack, I don't know why this is happening to me. But when you freak out, you take control of the situation. You no longer confide in the fisherman, in God's hands, right? You don't put your trust in God, you put your trust in yourself. You try to fix the situation. That's usually when people freak out. And as a result, you've ever seen those fishes like bleeding out of their mouth and like an eyeball popping out and this and that, all because they freaked out and they're just flapping all over the place? Whatever. Point is, don't freak out. Stay in God's hands, right? And nobody can pluck you out of His hands. Just be still, which is our part. Be still, okay? And wait upon the Lord. He'll put you back where you need to be, and everything will be alright. So then, that's the first thing that God told me to put out there for you guys. The second thing He told me to put out there for you guys has to do with being used. It has to do with you being. He gave me this analogy. It's just like how we use phones, and how the phone is a tool and an instrument for us to utilize and get things resolved. God utilizes you and me and vessels and as an instrument, as a tool to get what He wants resolved, right? But how does it make you feel when you click on an app and it's not operating, and when you click on something and it's not functioning? And it frustrates you, right? Because especially if there's a timeline to it and it's got to get resolved and your phone doesn't want to cooperate at that time, there's a lot at stake because of the timeline. And so when that happens to us in the natural, we get frustrated. Sometimes we throw the phone. I know people like that. They smash the phone, they break it, whatever, because the pressure of it not operating when it needs to operate, it's like it's enough for the person to blow up. Now, what God showed me is that He uses us in a similar fashion that we use stuff. Now, because He is sovereign, He is God, He is all knowing, all intelligent, all knowing, He knows how to utilize us, our strengths, our weaknesses, our gifts, our talents. And when we don't allow ourselves to be used by God, we're like an app that's on the fritz, that's not operating. And it's frustrating to God when He wants to resolve something and the person that He wants to use is acting up, doesn't want to be obedient, is rebellious, and this and that. So that's a way that people can understand that we are what our phones are to us. We are something very similar to God, because our phones resolve so much for us on a daily basis. It's a problem solver for us in a lot of ways. So God uses us and likewise to problem solve for Him with the poor, the widows, the orphans, the prisoners, the naked. He wants us to clothe them and feed them and visit them and help them. And this is how He puts out fires on earth, is through us. I hope I made that make sense. But basically, those are the two words He gave us. He said, be still and know that I am God. Basically, Basically, it had to do with being a fish that just trusted God in uncomfortable situations. And the reason why I put it as a fish is because God did a lot of analogies and a lot of parables alongside of being a fisherman. So, God bless you. I hope the Holy Spirit ministered to you. You get something out of it.